Velocinastaco says. I mean the one scraper would work still, but depending on how it solves JT, maybe you can use a different code.
Yeah, it would take like at least 2 weeks. But you know, that scraper is
Linus
fine.
Bright says. Beep.
Boop boop. Hey Bright. Well, like that scraper, you know, it's not even that bad if people would use it just for their own personal copies. I really don't want it being uploaded like chapter by chapter to another site
Lightest
and
Bright
then
says,
them putting ads on it.
I came here as soon as I got notif. Lightest Bright says. Sorry I'm late.
I'm glad you came. Thanks for pressing on that notification button. I have been doing great. I'm not even doing anything yet.
Velocinastaco says. Maybe if you find a way to remake the font with a new solution every time they request.
Okay. Heck. I'm not that smart. If I ever have like my own website, maybe, but calm down.
Velocinastaco says. Neither am I lol. Velocinastaco says. But I'm thinking in theory, which is all just bullshit. Lightest Bright says. No, Rio's the smartest. Botrix says. Botrix has correctly joined the channel.
I wish I was the smartest. But I would just use my smartness to do exactly what I always do.
Go away, Botriz. Lightest Bright says.
Sad.
Botrix.
I'm messing around some shit. I'll get to it. There's like a video that's blocked in Russia in my archive. And I was like, should I trim out the part that blocks the video in Russia? And I decided no. Why would I? Why go through the trouble when I could just not?
Velocinastaco says. That is fair. Velocinastaco says. Also hi Bright. Presvale Corusel says. Hello K.
Hello Presvale, how are you doing?
Brightest Light says. As much as I'd like to see you with your own model, I can't imagine you without this one.
You
Presvale
can't?
Corusel
Well,
says.
Guess what? You're gonna have to
Brightest
imagine
Light
it.
says.
Keep trying imagining. Cause I gotta get rid of this. I gotta have my own thing.
Brightest Light says. No.
Then I don't know. Maybe I should just stop using this model until I have a new one. Give you a bit of a
Brightest Light says.
time to just
Stay weird shark pony fox thing. Brightest Light says.
Which one of these should I use? Okay.
Velocinastaco says. Go back to tuber.
I think I'd have to reinstall Viato Mini. Yes, I have it. Let me check this. Oh.
Brightest light says. Rio was on vtuber once.
Okay, I found it. I need to find the avatar files.
Delockinistacco says. She was a tuber.
PNG tubers?
Brightest light says.
They aren't.
Tuber.
I don't have the tuber in my files. It's probably on a hard drive.
Delockinistacco says. Oh.
Well, I could download it from my own site. I did upload it to that site.
Brightest light says. Rio, ma'am.
Taco, you should like send me the zip from the site. I know you downloaded it. I saw you redeemed it, right?
Brightest light says. Do I have permisons to smack Taco? Delockinistacco says.
Only with love.
I'll remember the tuber days fondly. Delockinistacco says. I had it.
And it's good you're doing well, Presville.
I don't know if I still DK.
It's fine. Did I even use this on HeadXY?
Delockinistacco says.
Wow.
I'll see if I can find it. Delockinistacco says. Wasn't it sent through email once you claimed it?
Maybe. Okay, look. Head XY. Head Z. Head BX1Y2. And then... Fucking hell. Let's start the basics here. Head XY, head Z, head neck B X1Y2. XY and then Z. There.
Delockinistacco says. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only copy I have is on my dead hard drive, sadly.
Wow. You don't take care of my reincarnation.
If it's in my email, I'm not sure where.
Nah, it's okay. It's not that important. It was adorable though. As long as we all agree on that.
Delockinistacco says. I think I found it.
Ooh.
Brightest light says. I am sad now.
Alright, where are you sad?
Brightest light says. I am happy now.
Taco, don't betray. Don't betray this bright light. He needs it.
Brightest light says. Because I was worried Taco wouldn't find it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the lazy one here. My hard drives, they're on the shelf behind me. I just don't want
Brightest light says. I want to see the tuber. Brightest light says. XD. Velocinastaco says. Sent.
Letters. Yep, it exists. You can bring me back. Give me that. Oop. I gotta press so many buttons to get this thing going.
Velocinastaco says. Been a long time since tuber days.
Do you miss him? That's the real question. Alright, this is the thing I have on it right now, but I just gotta fix it. Closed mouth.
Velocinastaco says.
Open mouth.
Today's days are good.
Are they good enough? You don't want to send me back in time or anything?
Velocinastaco says. While there's things I miss, I'm happy that those existed and today's exist. Velocinastaco says. Tuber.
Tuber. Where should we put the tuber?
Brightest light says. Oh, it's the potato.
Do you understand that a potato is a tuber? You get it? You get it? You get it?
Velocinastaco says. Tuber.
The fucking tuber. Oh no, more US newspapers suing OpenAI. Don't shut down my OpenAI, I need it.
Velocinastaco says. They'll be fine, they got a lot of money.
I hope. Okay. I'm suddenly invigorated. Feel empowered. Oh my god. The fucking fish book is so cute.
Velocinastaco says. Power. Velocinastaco says. Sounds cute.
Did you read the summary I sent? It It is just so fucking adorable. It makes me wanna, like, I'm already translating 3 books, and it makes me wanna translate a 4th one. I need to go out there and find me a goddamn turn into an animal book. I need it. I need it.
Philokinostako says, LOL found a new subgenre.
No, I've actually already read a lot of these types of books. One where it was, I gotta go download the cat one. The cat one is just really the same basic thing, but it's in modern times, and he turns into a little tiny kitten, and the kitten is spoiled by the villain. Alright, and the villain was originally supposed to like fall in love with the female lead, who's, you know, supposed to fall in love with this other guy, and then the villain is supposed to get into a car accident and fucking die lonely and sad. The cat comes in, and the cat fucking claws at the male lead, claws at the female lead.
Philokinostako says, literally me.
What does that mean?
Philokinostako says, now which thing you said that I was referring to, you'll never KNKW.
I really, what? Are you slap the female lead? Do you get spoiled? Are you the villain? Are you dying? Lonely and alone? No. You got more friends than the villain, so.
Brightest Light says, Taco slaps females.
Because he believes in equality.
LOL true. Philokinostako says, wait not to brick Jade. Brightest Light says, perfect timing.
Can't take it back. Recorded forever in history.
Philokinostako says, have I ever slapped a woman? Brightest Light says,
have you ever slapped a woman that identifies as multiple women? Or done like a chain slap?
Philokinostako says, I'm not sure.
But like that's something you should remember.
Philokinostako says, I think I've slapped my sister LOL.
But she probably deserved it. Because she didn't give you a pen.
Brightest Light says,
I slapped her.
Damn. Brightest Light says, true.
Alright, look. You gotta do these. Very close.
Philokinostako says,
it's like the mid-hair.
She did give me a really expensive pen.
Yeah, but was it before or after you slapped her? Mid-hair,
Brightest Light says, did Taco tell you about the tortilla shell packets? His sister is a monster. Philokinostako says, way before. Philokinostako says,
then the slap was just...
it also wasn't out of anger.
Delayed. Look, you can't just give us bits and pieces of the story, man.
The Lochinestaco says. Wait, what story?
The story of the slap. Alright, there's an important question here. And this important question is...
The Lochinestaco says. Oh, I have no idea why I think I was messing with her.
I need an example. I need an example of a model that has long enough hair to be adjusted, but I don't have any of those models.
The Lochinestaco says. I slapped my brother with a tortilla today.
I really want you to like, I wish you had said that in like the I hurt myself today format. I slapped my brother today with a tortilla. This is all I want to hear.
The Lochinestaco says. LOL.
When should it have this a type of adjustment? The only question is, does it have the adjustment before or after the head XY? Let's put it after the head XY and see how it looks. Alright, see if you can guess what the fuck this means. I mean, you probably can't. It's mid hair right. No, even that's wrong. There's a left. Can't even do this right. Who trusted me to make a model? I can't even fucking name anything right.
The Lochinestaco says. Naming doesn't make the programmer, neither does it misc the modeler.
Wow. That makes the man, Taco. It makes the man.
The Lochinestaco says. Nah, I think the beat programmer's name shit stupid stuff. Clean code is a lie and a waste.
No. I demand clean, organized, respectable code. Alright?
The Lochinestaco says. Just do things.
No.
The Lochinestaco says. Things.
When you take code that looks like spaghetti and then you try to expand it for production, fuck everything up. You're gonna make your code efficient from the start. Look at this shit. It's wrong. It's all wrong.
Delakinastaco says, I wholeheartedly disagree. It makes code take way longer to code and it's easier to clean up. Doesn't mean you're coded wrong, but if you spend your time fretting over making it pretty, then it's going to be slower. AMD takes stupidly long.
Your code is already gonna look. Just make your code pretty from the start. Just make everything beautiful, okay? If it's beautiful, it can't be wrong.
Delakinastaco says, it can be beautiful, but like when you're making a statue, you don't start on one spot and then make it perfect and then move to the next part. You roughly shape the whole thing, and then slowly hew it down to its final product. Delakinastaco says, Lord, I hate typing on my phone.
Fine. If you're so passionate about it, then you should go code. No, you have to go study.
Delakinastaco says, also I just like arguing. I'm sorry I got carried away.
No, it's good. It's good to have a sense of wanting to defend what you believe
Delakinastaco
in.
says, damn right at the heart.
And I will always have a sense of making fun of you. Because the thing is, I don't code. It's not like I can have any strong beliefs. I can only have beliefs about live2d.
I respect it. Delakinastaco says, BRB gotta reload this cause stream delay.
Oh, okay. I hurt myself today.
Velocinastaco says. Also, I mean, I can't really have opinions on coding either. I'm not a real programmer.
Well, I'm not a real artist.
Velocinastaco says. Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Brightest Light says. What makes you say that?
Because I don't do it enough. I don't practice it enough. I'm not confident. I can't, like, have an idea in my head and just make it come out. Everything takes so much fucking work.
Says. What did you say? Brightest Light says. Both of you are far better at each thing than I am.
Well, that doesn't make us doesn't make us real. You're probably good at something. You draw.
Velocinastaco says. Rio is a real artist though. Brightest Light says. I don't draw good though. Velocinastaco says. Like objectively.
I don't believe.
Velocinastaco says.
But I don't believe.
You do draw pretty good though.
It's like calling an AI image creator a robot.
Brightest Light says.
A real artist.
And I've never gotten paid for my art.
Well, that comes with time.
Velocinastaco says.
When I believe it.
People pay your $100s of dollars because they like your art.
No, they don't pay me hundreds of dollars for the art. They pay me hundreds for the modeling.
No.
Shush.
Velocinastaco says.
You're arguing.
You're good at OS.
What's OS? Operating systems. And you're arguing with me again. Shushy shush.
Brightest Light says. XD. Velocinastaco says. Well, you're a good at modeling.
Maybe. Maybe I'll get good.
Velocinastaco says. Omega Strikers, it's a game. Brightest Light says. Let's go, I'm good at Anime 8 hockey game. Brightest Light says. And a failure at everything else.
You're too young to be a failure. You still gotta try. Failure is a part of it.
Mia says. Hello. Brightest Light says.
Mia.
But anime air hockey game.
No anime hockey game.
Velocinastaco says. Failure is good for you. IRS how you learn. Velocinastaco says. Just be less like me and be almost unable to accept failure.
Failure is good? Well, no. It all depends. Like, you shouldn't accept failure when it comes to some things. Don't ask me specifically what. I have not yet thought through any minds.
Velocinastaco says.
I have no thoughts.
Accept failure isn't the right word.
Don't be devastated by failure. Is that better?
Wallace Lovecraft says. Keep up the good work, Rio.
I shall continue to try. Thank you, Wallace. Thank you for the follow subscription, Mia.
Velocinastaco says. Yeah, having a mental break over simple failures is not good.
Yeah, just
Wallace
have a mental
Lovecraft
break
says,
over taxes, like
Hey
me.
Locke. The Lock in a
But
Stacko says,
I don't have to anymore.
Hey Wallace.
They're fucking over. It's been another year. The IRS has not killed me. Let us celebrate.
The Lock in a Stacko says, I don't even have taxes. Brightest Light says, Hey Wallace.
Be scared anyway.
Mia says, I love my fat cat.
Fat cat.
The Lock in a Stacko says,
why is your cat fat though? Why are you overfeeding your poor cat?
Wallace Lovecraft says, LOL.
Don't you want it
the
to
Lock
live
in a
forever?
Stacko says, I'll have taxes next year. Brightest Light says, cats are adorable.
They are. But recently, I think fish are
Mia
adorable
says,
now.
Or my balding cat.
Why is the cat balding? Damn, the cat's balding
Wallace
and it's
Lovecraft
fat.
says, we can't let the terrorists win. We must eat all the yogurt. The Lock in a Stacko
But
says,
why would...
I think Mia,
why would not
like
eating
cats.
the yogurt make the terrorists win? What was I clicking
The
here?
Lock in a Stacko says, I agree Wallace. Wallace Lovecraft says, I need to exercise more. The Lock in a Stacko says, do I understand? No, but I agree. Wallace Lovecraft says, I will try to go for a walk tomorrow. Brightest Light says,
you can do it, Wallace.
Wallace knows the truth, he will set us free. Mia says, I have 2 cats, the names are Pistachio and Mandarin. Wallace Lovecraft says,
those are cute names.
Tyrio. The Lock in a Stacko says, same.
And like Wallace, you know, it's like, here's what I would recommend. You know, walking, maybe put on an audiobook, put on, you know, like a video or something, and put a timer. All you have to do, if you want to take a 30-minute walk, all you have to do is walk in one direction for 15 minutes, and then walk back 15 minutes. Right?
The Lock in a Stacko says,
It's better before you know.
I think I gotta start walking
over
at night,
before you know it.
or maybe just stay up till dawn and then walk then.
But walking at night means you might die. Like, why? Because of the mosquitoes, the temperature, stuff like that. Early morning is probably the best during the summer. But staying up all night means maybe you'll get run over if you do that. Dangerous.
Brightest Light says, that is what makes it the best time to walk. The Lock in a Stacko says, I mean now it's the temp.
Oh. And yeah, early morning's good, but you know, how about you know, like late afternoon? I don't know, right before sunset.
The Lock in a Stacko says, I can't sleep until mornings.
Your sleep schedule's fucked. Okay.
The Lock in a Stacko says,
See, we'll have to see if these work here. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Brightest Light says, Taco. The Lock in a Stacko says, but I don't know, walking at night probably isn't a problem for me.
Like, you know yourself better than I do. I just know that I'm a scaredy cat.
Brightest Light says, go sleep at a normal time, Tosi.
If I were to go to sleep at a normal time, I'd already be asleep. I need to go for at least 20 more minutes. I think it's fair enough. Oh. What's next?
Brightest Light says, you're fine, Rio, Taco isn't.
Poor Taco, you're not fine.
Velocinastaco says. I wish I could bright.
Just knock yourself out.
Velocinastaco says. Like I could go to sleep right now, but I'd be up in 4 hours.
Well, even if I go to sleep at like 10, I wake up at 2:30. But the reason is that you're used to it. You have to force yourself.
Velocinastaco says. Same.
Yeah, 'cause it's just routine. You know what? You know that stupid thing I keep on saying. It's really like it's less important to go on to sleep for a long time than it is to sleep consistently. Yeah, your body really cares about consistency.
Brightest Light says. If I could, I'd fly to your state just to smack you upside the head. Velocinastaco says. Some of it's routine. I've also probably got insomnia.
Yeah.
Wallace Lovecraft says. This song reminds me of Kingdom Hearts.
It's Bayonetta, so. Dun, dun. Let me see if I can understand which song it's on. We're at 40 something. It's either Vigrid or Angel Advent B. Or it's Bayonetta preparing for Battle A.
Velocinastaco says. But I don't know, my current sleep schedule isn't good, but it works.
Yeah, well, you gotta think long
Wallace
term.
Lovecraft says. Who is that potato behind you?
It's also me, but it's my true form. You see, in order to... I need to let people
says,
adjust.
LOL.
Because one day this shark will disappear, and
says,
apparently it might traumatize
well,
some
if it
people.
isn't broken, don't fix it. Velocinastaco says. It's her tuber herself. Velocinastaco says. Make a ultra-realistic tuber next.
Yeah. This is already super realistic. Look, it's literally a picture of a potato.
Velocinastaco says. A grossly detailed potato.
No.
Brightest Light says. Make it a moldy potato.
Yeah. Why are you torturing me like this?
Velocinastaco says. Make a moldy potato for when you have other people in stream.
But so who's gonna be the moldy potato? Me or the other person? Either way sounds vaguely rude.
Velocinastaco says. The other person.
Wow. Hi, thanks for being a guest on my stream. You're now a moldy potato.
Brightest Light says. I'd love to be a moldy potato. Botrix says.
Why?
Brightest Light, you leveled up to level 7.
Congrats,
Velocinastaco
Bright.
says, I'd be a moldy potato, it's fitting. Brightest Light says, shove off Botrix.
These kids wanting to become moldy potatoes. I just don't get this generation.
Velocinastaco says, LOL, you're this generation too though.
Am I? Oh, woe is me. Guess I could finish the mouth. And by finish, I mean just finish organizing. Don't look at me.
Velocinastaco says, one of us, one of us, one of us.
I like simultaneously want to be younger, but never understand the younger generation.
Velocinastaco says,
skippy toilets.
but I don't know your exact age, but I'm 90% sure you are. Brightest Light says, one of us, one of us, one of us.
I'm like practically want to be a bit old. I'm so freaking stinky.
Wallace Lovecraft says, be younger for what? Wallace Lovecraft says,
like younger so I could live longer, but yeah, like other than
Velocinastaco says, I don't know, you're not.
Taco, you made another sentence that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Velocinastaco says, I'm sorry, I hate my phone, LOL. Velocinastaco says, my fingers are too fat, t.
Yes. I don't know, maybe you need to turn the sensitivity lower.
Velocinastaco says, I just always hit the wrong button.
Yeah, so you always hit the wrong button, and now you're used to hitting the wrong button, and now never in your life will you ever hit the right button.
Velocinastaco says, but what I meant is you're not that old and have no reason to be sad about your age. Velocinastaco says, I don't know, I'm speaking out my ass.
Yeah. I don't know, all of us sometimes have like moments where we wish we could go back in time and try and like my thing is all about like speed running efficiency. Whenever I'm in a game, like an idle game, I like it when you can reset the character, but it has a bonus, so it goes back to level 1, but you know, it's stronger than base level 1. But like there's a lot of
Velocinastaco
shit.
says, you're right, I do too, I guess I'm being hypocritical.
Maybe. Like hypocrisy mixed with trying to be supportive. Ah.
Velocinastaco says, it would be nice to go back knowing what I know now.
Yeah, like that's what all these Chinese novels are. So many of them are about. It's all about going back, or like it's either you're being reborn into the past in your normal body with information from the future, or you're being sent into a book that you read the plot so you know what's gonna happen, or all stuff like that. Like, there's so much shit that I wouldn't want to go through again, like school and school and fucking school. But I mean,
Delacanastaco says.
better
I
than
mean, I agree.
better than having to go to school now. It's like, what would you do? And also, it doesn't help that I have no aspirations. So it's not like I would be going back and be like, oh, now I'm gonna become an astronaut. I still wanna be doing what I'm doing. I just wish I was healthier while I was at it. I'm less stressed. Maybe, maybe I could get more seriously into coding and computers. I would get into so many different things. Forget manhwa, because manhwa is like the devil's trap. But I could get into translating. Then there wouldn't be AI, so how do I translate?
Delacanastaco says. Well, I mean, those three things are very achievable.
Yes. We're going through our going back in time fantasies right now, okay? I'm considering like none of my
Delacanastaco says. You right. Delacanastaco says. I would have actually put work into coding a lot younger.
Yeah.
Delacanastaco says. And school.
Well, in your case, not failing would be good enough. Like, not failing would be fine. It's not like you have to become like an honor student or anything. In my case, maybe I'd take school less seriously. Because I didn't have anything in my life other than school. But then again, if I did take it more seriously...
Delacanastaco says. Yeah, probably should have tried to get treated for ADHD when I was a kid so I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Yeah. Like, I just did have a thought. Like, if I took it seriously enough that I could get into college for free, that would be fine. But I never want to pay for it.
Delacanastaco says. But would college be helpful for you?
It would definitely take my life in a different direction. But I can guarantee I would probably be doing the exact same thing when I wasn't in classes. So I definitely prefer to be working and have money. I don't mind.
Delacanastaco says. But would you be happier that path?
Other than that, I still hate studying. I can't, like, there's nothing in college that is useful for me. It's like, I don't want to discover new things. I don't want to cure anybody. I don't want to be in a lab. It's like everything that sounds cool takes too long. Like, just discovering things takes too long. Innovation takes too long. I'm eternally impatient.
Velocinastaco says. The only aspiration I still kind of think about chasing is aeronautical engineering.
Alright, well, you know, if you have that in your mind, fucking go for it. Study it. Model. Explore it. We made it to the 1 hour mark. And it's 1:20.
Velocinastaco says. It's expensive and competitive.
Expensive and competitive. Like, expensive to learn, and a competitive industry, meaning there's a lot of people that you would have to fight against for a job, or the opposite.
Velocinastaco says. Do get the kind of job I want, I'd have TK be really good.
That's too hard of a job.
Velocinastaco says. And if I was serious about it, I'd have to get into certain schools. Velocinastaco says.
Look.
That aren't cheap. Brightest Light says. Well, it's a good thing that you are really good.
I mean, like, don't let anything keep you from what you want to do, but always look out for alternatives to expensive ways.
Velocinastaco says. I don't know, it's something I love and always have, but don't think I'm smarty enough to make it.
No. Don't give up. Intelligence is all and whatever anyway.
Velocinastaco says. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Don't look down on your dreams. Don't throw them away. Having dreams is important. Except real dreams. Fucking, like, when you sleep dreams, those are just weird. I remember dreams. They're also fucking creepy. I like real life.
Velocinastaco says. Maybe I'll go for it, maybe I won't. Gotta get past my current.
Yeah, you gotta get through your current situations. Ew.
Velocinastaco says. Maybe I'll become a bridge troll.
You probably don't know who this is. But there's this guy named, like, No. What was his name? He was on My 600 Life. My 600 Pound Life. And his ending was basically that he got kicked out of the house. His dad rented him like an RV van. Like not even like a big RV. Like basically a van. He parked it by the river. Then the joke just became, you know, I'm gonna go live in an RV down by the river. And like living in a van by the river. And then I'm pretty sure he fucking died.
Velocinastaco says. Damn, I know a lot of the 600-pound life ones but not Jim. Velocinastaco says. Sounds about right.
He was like, I think I had to be like one of the most famous. Because he was the type to like just blatantly like, basically his biggest issue was an addiction to painkillers. You just imagine how that comes about.
Velocinastaco says. Wait, is it the guy I'm thinking of?
I wanted to say Jack Scalfani, but he's like Italian. So it might have been like
Velocinastaco says.
Steven.
He got a girlfriend for a while and had a brother also in the SHKW.
Yeah, I think he did have a brother, and I think the brother was like better off than him.
Velocinastaco says. Yeah, him. Velocinastaco says. That bastard. Velocinastaco says. His brother did great.
God.
Velocinastaco says. But that guy was evil.
I go to bed now. Can I check off? I did stream today, and I did do things. Tired.
Velocinastaco says. You did it?
Yes, I did do it.
Velocinastaco says. You achieved your goal.
I mean, the goal being, you know, streaming. This is an interesting face though.
Brightest light says. Rio.
Brightest.
Brightest light says. Thanks for streaming today.
Bright. Thank you for coming today. Let's just all go to bed. Alright, I gotta wake up. I want to try something. I want to wake up, have breakfast, but have enough time that I can brush my teeth like a few minutes after.
I agree with Bright.
Well, Taco, thank you for being here as well. Because I keep reading articles that say that you need, well, either you thoroughly rinse your mouth before brushing so that you don't brush the debris against your teeth, which makes sense to me, or you like wait 30 minutes. I'll just do like half of both. Well, I'll thoroughly rinse before brushing, but I'll like wait a little while. But like especially when you eat things like that are sugary or abrasive or acidic, You want to give a little time for your saliva to break things down so that you aren't like grinding your teeth with these types of damaging things when you brush them. But it's like, oh, and also, you're not supposed to rinse out your mouth with water after brushing.
Don't worry, I'm the most annoying viewer. I'm happy to be here.
You're not annoying. Shut it. You just argue with me over things.
Velocinastaco says, you put a lot more effort into brushing than I do, lol.
No, it's because both my parents got kind of fucked teeth. I'll be happy enough if I just have all my teeth. I got a few not entirely straight ones, but I mean,
Velocinastaco says,
fine.
That's fair.
They just kind of like, they're not British teeth.
Taco. Arguing.
Like anything is better than British teeth.
Surprising.
But I've done some different things. I think my sensitivity might be getting better. But I'm lucky. I never had to do braces or anything. Who knows? I hope my teeth don't keep moving.
Velocinastaco says, yeah, I know I argue too much.
Tisk. You opinionated man. Right, but anyway.
Velocinastaco says, I probably should have gotten braces, lol.
No, Taco. You make such good food. You gotta keep your teeth so you can eat it forever. You can't have the British teeth.
Velocinastaco says, go sleep.
Yeah, I gotta go sleep. Alright, guys. Thank you very much for coming. Please have good weeks. Or have a good tomorrow.
Brightest Light says, Rio. Brightest Light says, good night.
Good night, Brightest. Everyone have a good academic career.
Velocinastaco says, rest well, stay safe.
Yes,
Brightest Light
stay
says,
very safe.
And sleep well or else.
Wish me luck. I mean, I'll go try to sleep well. And
Brightest
also,
Light says,
let me just give one final
good
rant.
night, Taco, yeah, dumbass. Velocinastaco says, or else.
Yeah, or else you're friending me now? Wow. I gotta give one final rant, and this rant is called, I tried to print out some shit, and everything went wrong. I wasted so many pieces of paper. Because I was too lazy to like measure things out properly. I just wanted to print out some Chinese character tracing sheets and some Sudoku puzzles. Alright, but because I didn't pay attention to anything.
Says, that's pain.
It's oh fuck. Maybe that's all my fault. But anyway, I don't give a. I'm taking it all to work tomorrow. I still gotta like mess with my pens, so I gotta make sure they're all ready tomorrow. But anyway, good night. See you all tomorrow. Where we will continue to do little tiny bits and pieces. We'll get there eventually.
Velocinastaco says, sleep.
I'm going. Goodbye. And just remember, Brightest, that emote's gonna go away one day. The real form will return.
Velocinastaco says, any work is good.
Any work is better
Brightest
than no
Light
work.
says, no. Brightest Light says,